Okay, so there's a few questions, really good questions a student asked me about the practice tests that she just took. And so one of them we're actually going to cover today. But let's go through them, okay? Because we know that these are things that could show up on the exam. So let's move this. So the first one, I'm going to shorten it a little bit. So Jessica is wrapping a gift in a rectangular box. Okay. And then the dimensions of the box is 11 by 8 by 5, and these are all inches. Okay. How much gift wrapping paper will she need? Okay. So let's give everyone a chance to try thinking about it. Let's give everyone a minute to try it, to start it. And then I'll give you a little hint. And then we'll let everyone, gives everyone a little bit of time to try it again. Okay. So let's take one look at it. What we can do is just first draw this. So we have a box. Okay. And I'm going to use different colors to signify the length. Okay. So it doesn't matter which one is which. We'll just say this one is 8. We'll say that the green is, I'm sorry, we'll say that red is 11. We'll say that this is 8. And we'll say this is 5. It doesn't matter when they say this wide, this long, this tall. You can always move the box over so it has the correct orientation. Okay. So the lines that are parallel will all have the same length. That's why I drew green, 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 vertical, red, horizontal, 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 and then blue, diagonal, diagonal. Okay, so the ones that are parallel will have the same length. So let's think about this. Okay, there's going to be 6 sides because when I throw a dice, there's going to be 6 sides. Okay, so the top and bottom are going to be blue and red, right? They're going to have exactly the same. So if I were to sort of draw this other side over here like this. Okay. So the top and the bottom are going to be blue and red. Blue and red. Okay. The front and the back. So this is top, bottom. Right. So the front and the back, right? The opposite sides, right? The front facing is going to be green and red. So green and red. Okay. And then you have left and right, right? This side and then this side coming in this side. Okay. That'll be green and blue. So green and blue. Okay. So let's remember that blue is 5 inches. Let's remember red is 11 inches. And let's remember that green is 8 inches. Okay. So basically, I have every combination of 11, 5, and 8. I have 11, 5, 11, 8. And then I have 8, 11, 8, 5. Then I have 5, 8, 5, 11. So we have every 2 copies of every possible combination. Okay. Now I want to find the area of each one of these. Okay. Because I'm going to put wrapping paper on each one of these sides. So this one's going to be 11 times 5 is 55. This one's going to be 88. And this one's going to be 40. And then we're just going to add these up. Okay. So I have 110 plus 160, sorry, plus 88 times 2, 176 plus 40 is equal to 326. Let me give everyone a chance to sort of breathe and copy that. If you have a question, then just ask me.
Professor, 326 or 366?
Let's see. I might have read it wrong. So let's see. 55 times 2 plus
40 is 80.
Plus, oh, it should be 80. You're right. 366. Thank you for that correction. Thank you.
Would it be inches cubed or?
It'll be inches cubed.
Okay.
Because basically what's happening is that we have 11 inches times 8 inches times 5 inches. Oh, actually, it's not inches cubed. It'll be inches squared because it's area. So think of this as 5 inch times 8 inch. So technically this is 4 inch squared, right? Inch times inch. So it's not inch cubed. Okay. Okay, so let's do the next problem. Okay. Um, the city's population grown by 1/6 in 2020. And in 2021, it has grown 2/5 from 2020. If in 2019, the population was 15580, what has it become in 2021? We'll make that a question mark. All right. Let's give everyone a little bit of time to do this. I forgot I was supposed to stop halfway and let you do this part, but I didn't. Okay, so let's take a look at it. Now, they can ask you this question with percents, and they can also ask you it with fractions. Okay, so let me make sure I took a picture of what we have so far. Yeah, okay. Let's erase this bottom part over here. Okay. So basically what we're looking at is that in 2019, there were 15580. And then in 2020, there were 11580, and it increased by 1/6. So one for every 6 people here, we added 1 extra person. So let's see. That is 15580 plus 15580 divided by 6. Okay, so I get 1817.6. So let's make that a full person. Okay, and then in 2021, we have 18177, and it grew by 2/5. Oops. 18177 plus 2 times 18177 divided by 5 equal to. So I have 25477.8. So let's round it to 25478. Now, this is a multiple choice question. So let me make sure that that answer is there. Let's see.
Yes, Professor. Thank you so much. It's very clear. Thank you.
Okay, is that better? Okay. So 25, huh? Two, 5, 4. There's a 254604. So I think you would just pick the one that's the closest. So I think the answer would be the D. Okay. So let's take a picture of this one. So the exact answer is there, but something that's within a couple hundred is there. There's one that's in the multiple choice. The options they give you is A. Oops, that's not it. The options they give you is 72744. B is 25980. C is 181860, and then D is 254604. So this one is pretty close. So I think the 1/6 and the 2/5 are estimates. Okay, now, if you're taking this test and you're not sure, just understanding that the population has grown, right? And you're guessing, you can automatically cross these two out because these two numbers are smaller than what you're starting with. So we grew and grew, it's got to be this one or this one. So even if you didn't know, you have a 50% chance of getting it right. Okay. Now remember, there's no penalty for guessing. So if you're not sure, you should guess. Okay, now this question is awesome. Okay. I looked at it and go, oh, it's pretty interesting. Okay. There's no way to prepare for this next question. You just kind of have to like suss it out. Okay. Two even numbers.
The one you just explained, you taught us this one last week, right? About-
Something like it, yeah. Except I think we use percents. So they would
Yeah.
say like the city's population has grown by 15% and then it has grown by 40%. So if you had that situation, these would be like 0.25 and 0.40. Okay, we just didn't do it as fractions. But they work in the same way. Are added to an odd number and then the result is added to an odd number. Oh, is multiplied to an odd number which of the following could be the answer. Okay. So we have 193, 110, 175, 78, 62. Okay, so let's look at the logic behind here. Okay. So let's look at this right here. Okay. sometimes it's easier just to like make up an example. I'm going to add two even numbers. I'm going to add two even numbers. And then I'm going to add an odd number. That's going to always give me an odd number, right? An even plus an even is an odd number. An even plus an odd always gives me an odd number. Okay, so let's remember, right? So an even plus an even is equal to an even number. So an even plus an odd number is going to give me an odd number. So if I have an even plus an even plus an odd, this will equal to a, well, this right here is even plus odd is equal to an odd number. Okay, so I know that this part right here is an odd number. Okay. Now let's look at the second part. So we have an odd number and we multiply it by another odd number. So an odd number times an odd number is equal to odd. I mean, pick any two odd numbers. 3 times 5 is equal to 15. 7 times 11 is equal to 77. An odd number times an odd number is always going to be an odd number. So what you want to first do is cross out any even numbers. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to cross out any even numbers. So I'm going to cross this out, I'm going to cross that out, I'm going to cross that out. So now these are my possibilities. Now remember, the only way I can get this number is by multiplying both of these, multiplying two numbers to get it. This right here is prime. So it can't be something times something becomes this because that's prime. Now, if we look at something like 175, that's equal to 25 times 7. So that works. I have an odd number times an odd number. So I need to pick the one that is not prime, right? Because it needs to fulfill this. And I need to have the one that is that when I factor it, I can possibly get an odd number times an odd number. So this right here would be the answer. Okay. Does anyone have any questions on that one? Let's take a picture. Now, every TEAS question has a few one-off questions. So what I try to do is give the questions that show up on most TEAS most TEAS exams. And if you can get the straightforward questions, usually you can pass it, the test because there's no way to sort of study for that question, right? That's just sort of like, do you sort of see it?
Professor,
Go ahead.
I don't understand this two even numbers are and to an odd number. I don't understand this first sentence.
Okay, so
Two even
I'm adding two even numbers and then an odd number. So I'm adding something that looks like 2 plus 4 plus 3. So I'm adding an even number and an even number and an odd number.
Okay, two even numbers are added to an odd number.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So it's an even plus an odd. We don't know what the numbers are. We just know it's even, and odd. So the most we can come out with that is that an even plus an odd will become a odd number.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Let me get the last question now. And if other people have questions, go ahead and text them to me. Okay, now, so let's erase this one. Now, this one here very much could be on the test. Like I've seen other students bring examples of this one with the fraction. Sometimes it's a percent where they ask you to take the percent of something twice or take the fraction of something and add it twice or subtract it twice. That does seem to show up a lot. So let me give you an example. Okay. So sometimes it'll give you a problem that looks like a $80 dress is discounted 15%, then an additional 20% off of the sales price. What is the new price of the dress?
Professor,
Mm-hmm. How can
Professor,
I help you?
I got 54.
Oh, okay, wait.
54.2.
Remember, we're gonna let everyone have a chance to do it, okay? Just wait. Okay, we're gonna do it together, but give everyone another, minute, okay? Okay, so let's take a look at this. So we're gonna go from, all right, so we're going from the original price. Okay, so we're gonna go from the original price, which is $80, is 100%. Now you don't have to do it this way. Okay. And then we're gonna go to 85% is X. So X is equal to
68.
80 times
6,
0.85.
68.
I don't know. Let me see. Let me get my calculator. So that is 80 times 0.85 is equal to, yep, 68. Okay. And then we'll go from 68 is my new 100%. And then X is equal to 80%. So X is equal to 68 times 0.8 over 1.00. So we have 68 times 0.8 is equal to 54.4. Now, some people will go the other direction and they'll go that $80 minus 0.15 times 80 will be equal to 68. And then they'll go from 68 minus 0.2 times 80 is equal to 54.4. Just like we did the fraction question. Okay. Now, the only time that becomes an issue, let's take a picture of this, is that when I've seen them put this on the exam, they tend to start with the final sales price. Okay. So let's erase this.
Professor, I have one question.
Sure, please.
Use this one is 80%. Here's 80% is 100% minus 20%. Then you got 80% because
Yes.
they have 80% additional 80% off.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
this is 100% minus 20%. So you got 80% here.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
That's correct.
thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Now, both of these work when they give you the original price and you work your way down to the sale price. Okay. Now, what I've seen on the test is a dress on sale costs $80. Okay. It was discounted 10%, then 30%. What was the original cost? Okay. Now, you cannot do it this way. If you do it this way, you'll get the wrong answer. You can't go 30%, because remember, you're going to have to do this one first and then this one. So you can't go 80 plus 0.3 plus 80. You'll get the wrong answer. It was 30% off of the original. This was 10% off of the original price, not 10% off of this. Okay, so you're going to have to do it this way if they give it to you from the original cost.
So, Professor, let me ask you a question. So this one is.
I'm sorry. Do you have a question? I couldn't hear it.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, you have to get closer to your microphone. I can barely hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, so it says it was discounted 10%, then 30. So it's 10% and then they discount. I'm sorry, they discounted 30% and then 30% and then 10%.
No. 10% first. So what's going on is that I have my original cost. And then it went down minus 10%. And then it went down minus 30%. So now I have, now it's $80. So I've got to find out what this was before the 30% discount, and then find out what it was before the 10% discount to find the original cost.
Got it. Thank you.
Got it? Okay. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Okay, now. So what's going on is that I have $80 is 70% of this one here. Okay. So we'll call this Y. Okay. So we have Y is equal to 80 divided by 0.7 is equal to okay. So now we have 114.29, right? So it's more expensive, which is correct, right? And we can double check ourselves, right? We can say 114.29 minus 0.3 times 114.29. That should equal to 80. So times 0.3 minus 114.29 equals. Yep. So this is equal to 80. So that's correct. A 30% discount on this will give me this. Okay. Now we want to go from Y to X. So now we have X is equal to X over, I'm sorry, 114.29 divided by, this is 90%, and then X is 100%. So I get X is equal to 114 divided by, I'm sorry, 114.29 divided by 0.9 equals to 126.99. Okay, and we can double check it by going 126.99 minus 0.1 times 26.99. That should give me 114.29. So 126.99 plus, oops, let's go backwards, minus 0.9 times 126.99 equals, oh, 0.1. Okay, so that works. When I do this, when students take their test and they come back and they go, oh, on the practice test, there's this question I really need help with. This one comes back every month. Okay, so be sure to know how to do this one.
Is the answer the 114.29?
No, the answer is going to be this one.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Where's the
so
point?
basically the 114.29 is here. So after the 30%, before the 30% discount, I was here. And before the 10% discount, I was here. So maybe what I should do is put minus 10% here, and that'll make it more clear. Is that a little better?
Professor,
Uh-huh.
I have a question. Is you
Sure.
why you first do why this it was discount 10%, then 30%? Now why you do 30% first, then do 10%?
Well, I have my original price, and I discounted it 10%, and then I discounted it 30%. What was the closest thing to the $80? What was the last thing I did to it? Right, $80 is my final sales price.
Uh-huh.
So I have to go backwards. I have to add the 30% to go to here, and then add the
Okay.
10% to go to there.
Oh, okay, got it.
Is that better? Let's do
Yeah.
another one. So now that you've seen how to do it, let me take a picture. Let's do another one. Because I do know for sure that that one shows up a lot. Usually they say a hat. I don't know why it's usually a hat, but usually they say a hat. Okay, so let's try this. And then for everyone, when you take your tests, take pictures of the ones you can't do and we'll do them. Okay, we have this extra workshop. So I think we have 7 workshops, and usually this is set up for 6. So we have time to do extra stuff, right? And that's usually I'll do the problems as they're fresh in your head, and then so don't be afraid to just ask questions as we go. A hat is on sale. A hat on sale costs, let's say $50. It was discounted 20%. Then it was additionally discounted 15%. What was the original cost of the hat?
Professor,
Mm-hmm.
I got 125 original
Okay,
price.
okay, I don't want to keep telling you the same thing. Okay. So Lan, what do I keep
Okay, I
asking you?
keep quiet. I keep quiet.
Okay, all right. So you gotta help me out. Give everyone a chance, right? Otherwise, frustrating for them.
Yeah,
So
Professor,
let's give it a shot. Uh-huh.
this it was additional discount is 15%. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I got there. I'm wrong. I got it was additional
Okay. So
50%.
yeah, 15%. Yeah. So remember that we're gonna go from the original price, and then we're gonna subtract 20%, and then we're gonna go to 15. We're gonna subtract 15%, and then we'll get $50, right? And we got to work backwards. So here's going to be Y. So Y over 100% is equal to 50 over 85%. Okay. So let's take a look at that. So we're going to go 50 divided by 0.85 is equal to Y is equal to 58.82. Okay. So this now is 58.82. And then we want to go backwards again. So we'll say X. So we say that the full price is equal to 58.82 all over, and that's going to be 80%. Okay. So 58.82 divided by 0.8, that's going to be 73.53, like that. Okay. And that's probably the easiest way of doing that problem.
I got the same answer, but a different way.
That's okay. If you got this right answer, that's fine. There's other ways of doing it.
I was gonna say the same thing.
I mean, what some people will do is they'll do the X minus 15 times X is equal to 50. So this minus the discount is equal to that. So then they'll get 0.85x is equal to 50. So then x is equal to 50 divided by 0.85. So they get to 0.85 in a different way. 50 divided by, and that's perfectly fine. Did you do something like this?
No, I first did 50 over 80 and then Y over 100, got that answer. And then I got 6250 over 85. And I just did the math and I got 73.53.
Okay, as long as you got the right answer and it makes sense to you, do that. Okay. Don't let me like confuse you for something you already know how to do. Okay, so let's take a picture of this. Okay. Now, give me 1 second. Okay, so let's work on the next one. So a student sent another question, and it actually leads up to what we're doing today. Okay, so let's erase this. So we're probably going to push some of the material that we're going to do today to next week, but that's not a big deal because, like I said, we have an extra week, so it's no big deal. Okay. Now, what I want to work on is geometry. So the area of a square, I mean, sorry, a rectangle, length times width is equal to width times length, or length times width, doesn't matter. And then the perimeter is equal to, so the difference between the area and the perimeter is that the area tells me how many squares will fit in here, how many unit squares. And the perimeter tells me how long it takes me to walk around the object. Like if I cut this and made it a string, pulled it straight, how long would that string be? So if I was going to figure out the perimeter of a rectangle, I'd go up L over W, down L over W. So it would be L plus W plus L plus W, which is 2L plus 2W. Okay. So it's really important to understand the difference between area and perimeter because they'll ask the same question using the same shape, but then they'll ask you area or they'll ask you perimeter, one or the other. Okay. Now, let's do something straightforward. Okay, so let's do something like this. So let's make this 2 and let's make this 3 and let's say find area and then find perimeter. Okay. So the area is 2 times 3 is equal to 6, and the perimeter is 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 3. If we sort of walk around our shape, then that'll be 6. Okay, or you could use the formula. Now, they're not going to give you that problem. That problem's too straightforward. So let's look at what they will give you. Okay, now.
That's 10, right, on the perimeter?
Oh,
Yeah, it should be
oh my
10.
goodness. I'm nowhere even close, am I? I did the 3 plus 3 and I moved on with my life. Okay. Now let's talk about a typical question that they'll give you. Right? So it'll look something like this. A student sent me something that's a little more complex that we'll do next. But let's say this is 8. This is 4. Let's say this is 3. And let's say this is 2. And what we want to do is we want to find the area and we want to find the perimeter. Okay, so I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let you go cold and try giving it a shot. Okay, don't yell at the answers. Give everyone a second to struggle or succeed with it. So I sent you yesterday something with a whole bunch of worksheets. I will send you new homework with the video and the slides. So ignore what homework I gave you last time. I will switch it up. Okay. just because we spent some time on some pretty important problems, which I'm glad we did. Unfortunately, for the questions that they gave us before, there aren't really worksheets for it because they aren't standard questions. So the fact that we got to do it was good. The fact that we got to drill it was good. So we're going to push back some of the stuff to next week. Okay. Now, the big problem here, if you're starting to see what the issue is we don't know what this is and we don't know what that is, right? We've got to figure out what those two locations are. Okay. Now, in order to find those two locations, you want to look at all the sides that are, let's say this one, parallel to this. So I have this right here, and then this side is parallel to it, and this side is parallel to it. Okay. So if I think about it for over here, from here to here is 2 units. And then from here to here is 3 units. Right? That's 2 units. That's 3 units. Okay. So if you say, how long is this entire thing? Well, it's 2 plus 3. This is 5 units. Okay. Now, if anyone has a question how I got that, talk to me. Okay. Now, to figure out my distance here, okay, I need to have, I look at everything parallel to that side. So this, and this. Okay. So I know that this entire part is 8. I know that this subpart is 4. Right? This whole thing is 8, but just up to here is 4. Okay. So the question is, how long is this?
4.
You get it by doing the long one minus the short one. So we can find the perimeter now by just adding all the sides. This is 8 plus 2 plus 4 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. And we should get 11, 21, 26. Okay. Now we get the rest of this by cutting this into squares, rectangles. So you can either cut it this way or you can cut it this way. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to cut it this way. Okay. So rather than looking at an L shape, I'm looking at something that looks like this, where this is 8 and this is 2. And I'm looking at something that looks like this, where this is 3 and 4. We ignore this 5 because we've cut the 5 in 2 pieces. Okay. We ignore this 4 because the length of this is all the way down, 8. Okay. So I find the area of this one, and I find the area of that one, and that gives me the area of the L. Okay, let me give everyone a chance to copy. Okay, so I get 16 over here. I get 12 over here. So 16 plus 12 is equal to 28. Okay, let's try that again. Let me give you one to try entirely on your own. Okay, now, so let's do so let's do something like this. Okay, we'll make that 10. We'll make this 8. We'll make this 4. We'll make this 3. Okay. And find the area, and then find the perimeter. And remember that they're probably going to ask you only one of these on the exam. So this part will look the same, but this and this will be different. So make sure you read carefully which one they want.
Sorry, is that a 3 or a 5?
Oh, I'm sorry, that's a 3.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay. So this one here, it will be this plus this, right? So this part is 4, this part is 3. So this entire part is 4 plus 3 is equal to 7. So the next part you want is this right here. Find that. Okay. So this whole thing is 10. I'm sorry, 8 is right here, right? This partial thing, this whole thing is 10. So right here is 10 minus 8 is equal to 2, like that. So when we look at our perimeter, it's going to be 4 plus 10 plus 7 plus 2 plus 3 plus 8. 14, 24,
34.
34. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Now, it doesn't matter whether you cut it like this or you cut it like that. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to cut it like this. Okay. So go ahead. All right. Don't yell at the answer. Give everyone a chance. I'm going to cut it like this. So label it, the dimensions, and then figure out the area and add them. Okay. So this is 10. This is 4. This is 2, and then this is 3. So we have 40 plus 6 is equal to 46. Okay, good. Okay, now the next one we want to work on is circles. And then remember, if you have a question, just interrupt me. I'm more than glad to help you. Okay, so let's look at circles. Now with circles, sometimes they will want the answer to have pi in it, and sometimes they will want you to compute pi, but they'll give you the value for pi. So let's remember the area, or sorry, circumference. Okay. So the circumference is the same thing as a perimeter for a circle, meaning that if I have a circle and I cut this, how long is that string? Just like the perimeter is, if I cut this and this was string and I pulled it out, it would be 34, I don't know, inches, whatever unit it is long. So circumference and perimeter are the same thing. So think of circumference as perimeter for a circle. Okay. So the circumference is equal to 2 pi r. And this does come up on the test, both the perimeter and the area. So I would memorize these. They do come up. Okay. Then the area of a circle is equal to area. Oh, sorry. Let me use the thing. Area is equal to pi r squared. Now for pi, they sometimes will say leave pi in the answer. sometimes they'll say pi is equal to 3.14, and sometimes they'll say pi is equal to 22 divided by 7. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look at this. All right. Now, let me give you a circle. Now they're going to give you two kinds of circles. They're going to give you one where you get a radius, and they're going to give you one where they're going to give you the diameter. It's going to go all the way across. Okay. So I want you to answer the question 3 ways. Okay. So if you one of them you leave pi in the answer, another one your answer is going to be decimal, and another one your answer is going to be a fraction. Okay. So for each of these, I want you to find the circumference. And do A, B, and C as my answer. And then I want you to find the area. Do A, B, and C as an answer. Okay. So let's do the first one. So for part A, we have circumference is equal to 2 pi r is equal to 2 pi times 4 is equal to 8 pi. So for B, we can move on to 8 times 3.14 over here, 8 pi is equal to 8 times 3.14, which is equal to 25.12. And then C, we have 8 pi is equal to 22 divided by 7. Sorry, 22 equals 176 pi divided by 7. Now they may want you to convert that to a mixed number. So 176 divided by 7 is equal to, this would be 25. And then you would get 1 over 7 pi. Okay. Now for over here, I have area is equal to pi r squared.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Use this number C. And this is 77 over 22. 7 over 22, you are the pi. 8 pi.
Oh, I forgot pi here, huh? Oh, no.
No, 8 pi.
Yeah. 8 pi equal to 8 times. Thank you. Oh, so should be like this, huh?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure which one they'll want. They may want this one, they may want that one. So thank you for helping me correct that. Okay. So this area is equal to pi 4 squared is equal to 16 pi. And for C, 16 pi is equal to 16 times 3.14, which is 50.24. And then, that's B. And then D, 16 pi is equal to 22, 16 times 22 over 7. So let's see, 16 times 22 is 352 over 7, or 50 and then 2 over 7. Okay. All right, now try doing this one. They're going to try to trick you by giving you the diameter, but boy, this is spelled wrong. Circumference. Okay. They're going to trick you by trying to give you the diameter, but remember that the radius is half of that, right? All of these formulas work off the radius, not the circumference. So for each one of these, just do A. Okay. We already did A, B, and C for these. Just do A. And let me spell this correctly. All right, give that a shot. Oh, one moment. I think I have someone in the doorway. Sorry about that. We've got the loudest UPS person in the world. Okay, so let's try this one. So we have, the key thing here is that this is 3. Okay. So we get C is equal to 2 pi r. So we get 2 pi times 3 is equal to 6 pi. And then over here we have area is equal to pi r squared is equal to pi 3 squared is equal to 9 pi. Okay. Now I don't expect them to give you that problem. Okay, let's take a picture of this first. That typically isn't the problem that they give you on the test. Let me show you what they give you. Okay, so let's erase this. Okay. So something very typical that they'll give you is something like this. Okay, so this is a circle. This goes through the center of the circle. And then they'll tell you that this is 10. Okay. So they'll ask you to find the distance around the shape. Okay. Or they'll ask you to find the area. Okay. So let me give you those two. I just think about it. Okay. Now, what you want to recognize is that this is half a circle. Okay. So the key thing you wanted to figure out that no, this is half a circle. Okay. So the distance around it is going to be 10, which is this right here. Let me put it in green, perhaps. Right? That's 10 plus half the circumference. Right? So all the way around is the circumference. But if I'm just given this, that's half the circumference. So you figure out what the circumference is, you just take half of it, and that gives you the, so first I walk 10 inches this way, then I walk around half the circle. So go ahead and do that one. And then after you've thought about that, see if you can figure out what the area is of just that, half circle. Okay. So the distance is equal to 10 plus 1/2 2 pi. Now remember, this distance is 10, but my radius is equal to 5. It's half of that distance. So times the radius. These two will cancel, and I end up getting something that looks like 10 plus 5 pi. Okay, so now go find the area. That's half a circle. So the area is equal to 1/2 of a circle. Sometimes they will give you a fourth of a circle, like, you know, they can give you something that looks like this, where it's a fourth of a circle. Then you say a fourth of a circle. Okay, so it's usually a fourth or a half. Okay, so I have area is equal to 1/2. We'll leave pi in the answer, okay? But you know how to deal with it. They'll tell you what pi could be. So this is going to be pi r squared. So this is equal to 1/2 pi, and then r is 5 squared is equal to 25 divided by 2 pi. Okay. Now, they'll give you something like this, but if you say, like, I've gone through, like, for the last 10 years, I've gone through. Where are you going, honey? Okay, good luck. Okay, now for the last 10 years, I've gone through every TEAS handbook that they've had. And every TEAS handbooks, they change it a little bit. They give us different questions, but pretty much the TEAS exam doesn't change. They seem to have a test bank of questions that they have, and they just recycle them. So even in old handbooks, they may not say in the new handbook that we're going to cover something. That problem still shows up because they don't seem to remove questions from the test bank. So every time I get a new handbook, it gives me a different, like, window into what possible questions there are, but the handbook is not necessarily always complete. Now, in the handbook, in terms of this question, the one that comes up the most often is this like this. They'll say something like you have a window pane or a window that's shaped like this. So it's a half circle on top of a half circle on top of a rectangle. And then they'll say this is 8, and then they'll say this is 6, and then they'll ask you for 2 things. They'll ask you one for the area, and then they'll ask you for the distance around the window. Sometimes they'll describe it as they're going to buy wood to go around the window. How long should that wood be or that flashing be? But essentially, they're talking about something going around the window. Okay. So go ahead and figure out the area. The area is basically the rectangle plus the half circle. Okay. Now, in terms of the radius, they usually give you this one. So you're like, I don't know what the radius is. Understand if this is 8, this will also be 8.
Yes, and radius is 4.
Radius is going to be 4. You said it correctly. So if they give you this question, I think you'll probably be something like this. So over here, you have 6 times 8 for the rectangle, plus this is half a circle, and then you have pi and then 4 squared, right? That's my pi r squared. So this is the area of the half circle and the area of the rectangle. We're going to add them together. So I get 48 plus 1/2, 16 pi. So 48 plus 8 pi. Now they may ask you to change pi to be 3.14. You got a calculator, you can do that. Okay. Now do the same thing with the distance around the window. And then I apologize. I'm gonna have to leave right after class because I have a department meeting that I'm already missing. So right after class, I'm just gonna skip out. I'm just gonna like quit it, and then I'm gonna jump to them. So if you go like, man, that was rude, like I apologize. Usually I hang out for like lingering questions, but if you have lingering questions, just email me and I'll try my best to either answer it in the email or Zoom and answer. Like I'll record a Zoom and I'll do an answer and mail it to you. Okay. Okay, so let's try it. Okay, now you got to be really careful. This is actually not the perimeter of a square. Remember that we're going around this window. So we're only looking at this, this, and this. So a lot of times students will make a mistake and add this center line. Don't add that center line. We're just adding the 6, 8, and the 6. Okay. And then we're going to go around this half circle. So we're not including that middle. Okay. So this is 6 plus 8 plus 6 plus half the circumference. Half 2 pi. And then my r is equal to 4. So this is equal to 22 plus 4 pi. Like that. Okay, let's take a picture of this. Okay. Now, I had a student send a question to me, so let me do that one. So let me draw it. So they want to know the area of this shape. So it looks like this. So I'm not drawing it to scale, but they are. So this is 624, 624, 3, 3, 7, 2, and 5. And it says find the area. So go ahead and cut that up into rectangles. Any way you see the rectangle, regardless of how you cut the rectangles, you'll get the same, you should get the same answers. So I just want to remind you again, I sent you something with homework. Ignore it. There's stuff we're going to cover next week. I'm going to dramatically cut down the homework. So I will send you the video and the slides and the updated homework tonight. And just so you know, I think this was a much better workshop because of the questions that were given than if we didn't have the questions given. So thank you to the student who gave me them.
Thank you, Professor, for doing it.
Okay, so let's look at this. I'm going to cut it this way. If you wanted to, you could have cut it this way and get one long one and two short ones. It doesn't matter. They both work. Regardless of how you cut it, you're going to have to find what this distance is. But let me first sort of draw the rectangle. I have one that looks like this. I have one that looks like this. And then I have one that looks like a little bit shorter, looks like this, right? And then this one's not too bad, right? I can see it's 2 and 5. And then this one's not too bad. I can see it's 2 and 6. But the problem is over here, I only know that this right here is 3. I don't know how long that is. But we can sort of use the same thing we've done before, right? We can say from here to here, we don't know, but from here to here is 3, and this whole thing is 5. So this right here should be 5 minus 3 is equal to 2. Now, we could have done it from the other direction also. We could have gone, okay, I know that this from here to here, I don't know. But from here to here, this entire thing is 6. So this right here is 6 minus 4 is equal to 2. So either way you look at it, that's 2. So now I have 12 plus 6 plus 10 is equal to 18, 28. Okay, I'm gonna take off now. I gotta run to another meeting so I don't get in trouble. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate how hard everyone's working. Okay, hang in there and I'll send you the video and everything tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Meeting.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, thank you.
Professor, thank you
Okay.
so much, Professor.